It is terrifying to dissolve parts of your previous image. That is the top human skill set, a willingness to die.
I'm gonna go there because you brought that up.
Yeah.
Up until a while back, you probably thought you were made out of Teflon.
Who knows what you would do if people that you loved were being threatened?
You've got to put yourself in someone else's shoe.
You might say, I wouldn't do what that fool doing. I don't care. I definitely wouldn't be doing that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I was shocked that you were willing to go there. How are you internally during all of that?
Yeah, so to have had all the sex, how many more #1 movies do I need? How many more Grammys do I need? It is such a rare gift to get to the end in the place where only God is left. I've read the Quran from cover to cover. I read the Bhagavad Gita. I read the teachings of the Buddha. If I had to say what my religion is.
This is The Deep End with Lecrae.
What's going on, everybody? This is Lecrae, and we are on a very, very, very special episode of The Deep End today. We've got somebody, I mean, you know, you might have heard of him. I don't know if you have or you haven't. He's a little iconic. He's been around a little bit, you know, done a few things you may have seen on TV and film. And now, you know, he's back doing music again. And so you may know this person. I don't know if you know him or not. I just found out about him today. His name is Will Smith.
In the building.
In the building.
In the building.
Iconic Will Smith.
Man.
Like, it's an honor, man.
Man, it's my pleasure. I'm excited to be in the deep end.
Oh, well, yeah, hey, listen, it's gonna get crazy on here. Just a little, I warn you. No, but sincerely, man, you know, you've done it all. You have climbed the highest mountains in entertainment. And you could easily sit down and just enjoy the fruit of your labor, but you are still running a million miles an hour.
Yes, sir.
So, how are you feeling in this era right now, this moment?
Now, this is a new phase of my life and a new phase of my career, but the career part is really only reflecting the inner experience, you know?
Okay.
And I'm brand new, man. It's like, you know, there is a creative well that has opened up within me that is, you know, previously unexplored areas, you know? So, you know, I mean, just things are coming out of me as an artist in a way that they never have before. So, you know, I'm excited to begin to share. It feels like, you know, I've had a cocoon period over the past couple of years, you know, the inward work, and now this is like coming out of the chrysalis back into the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because when you're in the position that you're in, oftentimes to have to be different characters, to have to become so many other people for the entertainment purposes, the inspiration of others, folks often think of you as those characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not as a person behind that who really has to like, hey, wait, who am I? What do I need to figure out about me? So we know only what you've been able to give us through these characters, through, you know, well, your book was pretty good. I mean, you gave us quite a bit.
A little deeper, a little more into the deep end in the book.
You took us to the deep end of the book.
But that's part of the difficulty of one being an artist and another being a celebrity and public figure, right? So, especially when you've had success. So what happens is you get this small little constellation of ideas and experiences that people want from you. They get used to having a certain feeling that comes from this one small area. And then as an artist and as a human, as you try to expand, sometimes you expand into areas that are, less desirable.
we didn't want to know all that about you.
We didn't want to know all that. Will, we was cool. We was cool with the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to the ability to, take deeper, more honest and revelatory looks at myself has been so fruitful and scary and hilarious. But I'm just finding new parts of me that are just going to be magnificent in movies and music as I just get a hold of these new energies and learn how to deliver them artistically. I'm brand new, man.
What I find interesting is that historically, we see you in, roles or caricatures that are probably like more pronounced as joyous or jovial, comical.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me...
What you trying to say, man?
No. No. What I'm saying is when people think of Will Smith, this is how you are. Like every time I've interacted with you, smiles, it's love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the same time, I feel like you've been very comfortable as of late. I've gotten a chance to listen to some of your music as well.
Yeah.
You've been very comfortable as of late, like exploring the shadow side.
Yes, for sure.
And not just all the roses and the happiness. And how does somebody get comfortable? Like when you have so much to lose, you have the world watching, you're able to bear that on an album artistically. Like, how do you get there?
That is the most difficult thing.
Okay, life moves fast. My life moves fast. And everybody's life with kids moves especially fast. It's a straight up hustle. And I don't know what's gonna happen this year, but I know I'm prepared for the unexpected. The question is, are you? So, Fabric by Gerber Life helps get term life insurance in minutes. You need this to help protect your family's financial future, trust me. Now, Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online and on your schedule. You can be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, it's time to lock in the low rates now. Be thinking about your future. Be kind to the future you and to your future little yous. So even if you got life insurance through your employer, it may not give you enough protection for your whole family, and it may not even follow you if you leave your job. So what Fabric does is give you this flexible, high quality policy that's gonna fit your family and fit your budget. So it's like millions of dollars of coverage for less than $1 a day. Why would you say no to that? Fabric, partnered with Gerber Life, is trusted by millions of families just like yours for over 50 years. There's no risk, 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel anytime you want. Listen, they have almost 2,000 5-star reviews on Trustpilot with a rating of excellent. Fabric was designed for busy parents like you, and it's more than life insurance. It's free digital wills, there's access to investment accounts, there's investment for your kids' future, and more than that, and you get to manage it right from your phone. You gotta do it. It changed my life to get myself processing the future of my family. So please take it seriously, all right? Join thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. So apply in just minutes and meet fabric.com/Lecrae, all right? Fabric.com/Lecrae. You want my help? You want my discount? Just do what I'm telling you, all right? That's meetfabric.com/Lecrae, MEET fabric.com/Lecrae, Lecrae, if you don't know how to spell it. Now, policies are issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states, and the prices are subject to underwriting and health questions. Do it.
There's this image I saw. This cool. It's like running around on the internet, and it's like a little girl holding a little bear. And it's like Jesus standing over her with the big bear behind his back.
Yeah.
But she can't see the big bear.
Yep.
So clinging to the little bear, not trusting that if you let go of the little bear, you'll get the big one.
That's good.
Right?
That's good. Yep.
And it's like, but you're not going to get the big bear unless you let go of the little one.
Right.
Right? And there's a certain trust of life, a trust of, universal reality, a trust of God or source, right? There's a trust of the truth that you just got to let go of the little bear. You gotta let go of the little you and trust that the big you will emerge.
And you would say that that's been a reality for you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like, okay.
Absolutely.
I let go and I didn't fall. I didn't.
Yes. I didn't die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the trusting, and it's funny, actually, I'm gonna take it back. I said I didn't die. I did die. Right. And I think that is the top human skill set, a willingness to die, a willingness to let go.
Let go. Yeah.
That thing's not serving you anymore.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
That relationship's not serving you. That job's not serving you. That circumstance is not serving you. A willingness to feel what it feels like to die the death of the loss of that thing, trusting yourself and God to create the new thing.
Yeah.
That's
you're like, for me, you're like the closest picture to a person embodying the ancient Jewish text of Ecclesiastes. A person who's like, I've experienced it all.
Yep.
I've seen it all. I've done it all. And it didn't really do what I thought it was gonna do. It didn't define me the way that I thought it would. And so I'm gonna just tell you this. And I think that takes a lot of courage because,
well, first of all, people don't want to hear it. So you know how most people end up, they try to talk about that.
Yeah,
right. So, and it's like, it is such a rare gift to reach the end of the material world.
Elaborate.
Right.
Talk about that.
To reach the end of money. To get to the point where you can buy anything you want and you sit in your house and there's nothing else to buy. Whereas buying things used to like scratch an itch.
Yeah.
And now there's nothing else to buy, right? To hit the end of the material world, right? To have had all the sex that you want to have. And
I read the book.
Yeah. And it's
you did a lot of things.
Yeah, you get to the end of that, right? How many more #1 movies do I need? How many more Grammys do I need, right? And it is such a rare gift to get to the end of the material world in the place where only God is left, right? And it's like, it's interesting. I think we may have talked about this before. Yeah, we talked about this before, where people usually do that when they hit rock bottom. But there's a corresponding place to rock bottom that I call cliff top, where you actually pop out of the top of the material world and there's nothing left here. And you have to, inward is the only place left.
Yeah.
There's no country you can go to. There's no new relationship you can start. There's no job that's going to do it. There's nothing. You get to the end of it. And it's like, it's excruciating, but I would wish that on everybody. I wish everybody could have everything they want.
To see.
It
doesn't satisfy.
It doesn't satisfy.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a place that I've discovered within myself that is an infinite well.
You were made for more than it's like the external things.
Right in the heart of you is the doorway to the mystery. And unfortunately, it's right in the center of exactly where you don't want to go inside yourself. Exactly the things you don't want to address, exactly the things you don't want to deal with. And it just takes a heroic spiritual effort to look into that interior abyss.
it's kind of it's almost like you're the antithesis of everything people expect when you reach the pinnacle.
Right, and it's like there's an external pinnacle, and then there's an internal pinnacle, right? And the external pinnacle is great because you just get started, you learn some of the skills, and then you let it all go and you try to reconcile your relationship with reality with none of that stuff. Try to reconcile your relationship with the personality of God without all that stuff.
Yeah. Now, I still find it interesting because you get to this place where you're able to process all of these things. Most people would just rather stay like drunk in the
in the drunken carnival.
Yeah, exactly, right? And even as I'm listening to the song with Big Sean, Beautiful Scars, right?
Yes.
In the promo, you did the Matrix kind of recap and relive the which that's another conversation in and of itself. I would be brokenhearted if I was the person that passed up. But anyway, but you were offered 2 pills.
Yeah.
And one is to like, I don't want to have any consciousness of the existential, like the deeper inner work.
Yeah.
And the other is, let's find out what's really going on behind this. You took both.
Took them both, right.
Talk about that a little bit. Like what's
So the idea is you want to be able to walk both realms. You want to be able to completely understand and relate to the nightmare of being trapped in the Matrix.
Okay.
It's the only way you can love somebody. If you can't understand how somebody is suffering when they lose a job, even though you know that job is in the Matrix, even though you know it's about to be the greatest thing that ever happened to them, while they're doubled over and crying on the floor and terrified, you want to be able to relate to that. Then on the other side, you want to know the power that they're going to come into. So you love somebody, and kind of how I've defined love for myself in the past couple of years is being able to help somebody from the nightmare into the highest blissful form of themselves. Right? So you got to take both pills. You got to understand both realms in order to be able to truly love.
That's good. That's interesting. So, I mean, in my own personal journey, I went through a series of clinical depression.
Really?
And in that time period, I got everything I could have ever imagined from where I started to like, I never would have thought I'd be where I'm at. And I'm at the lowest point in my life where the outside world would say, what are you talking? You got everything.
Yes.
What are you talking about? But I came out of that with a different sense of empathy.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? It was like, I would not know that didn't satisfy if I didn't experience it. But I also would not be empathetic had I not just gone through the lowest of lows.
Absolutely.
And then could see how much inner work I needed to do. So I kind of see.
Yeah, it's like it is from being in the heart of your difficulty is how your eyes get deep when you look at somebody and they're in theirs. Right? People can tell you get it because you've been vomited on your bathroom floor. So you know what that's like. It's unfortunately or fortunately, it's like broken hearts are how we cultivate loving hearts.
Yeah.
And
say that again.
I said broken hearts are how we cultivate loving hearts. From being doubled over, you get a deep understanding of the human predicament. You know what it's like to be crippled with fear or pain. And through your path of recovering from that is how you reach back for others.
Yeah.
If you've never been there, you can't help nobody.
Wow. That's really good. I'm curious because there's a sage in Will. Will Smith has there's a lot of
sage, some basil, little cinnamon. I'm all of it, man.
But I think that's the interesting part though, is because, and I'm curious, have you had to learn how to weave in that? The reason why I say that is this: when I'm listening to your project, you have a narrator, a reverend.
The reverend, well, no.
Right, which we'll dive into that later down the road. But I thought it was interesting that you didn't just sit there and just give sage wisdom. You kind of, it was mixed in with some comedy. It was profound, but it was done in a way that was like accessible. What is that something that you do constantly? Is there a reason behind that?
I think you know, the album is called Based on a True Story, and this is season 1. So I'm doing it because it's based on a true story. I'm not calling it, volumes. So this is season 1.
Okay.
And my hope is I've released 3 seasons this year.
Okay.
So this is season 1.
Okay, it's a lot of seasoning going on.
It's a lot of seasoning, so I'm calling the songs episodes.
Okay.
Right. So season 1 is Rave in the Wasteland. Right. So it's at what we were talking about learning how to be with difficult times. So this is the first songs that I wrote in like my most difficult times. So a long way to get to the question, right? That you can listen to it in 2 ways. I hope that it's just enjoyable. I wanted the beats to be banging. I wanted it to just, be fun and enjoyable, but it also represents my journey of the last couple of years. And every song is an idea or a concept or something that that I explored or something that I learned or something that got downloaded, in the song you were talking about, the title song, The Rave in the Wasteland, we going to church tonight, we going to work tonight, we making it burn tonight, oh, you gonna learn tonight. We in the heart of the revelation. This is the elevation, 144,000. We have been chosen to lead the awakening, right? So that's like the first.
I hear the double speak in there. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. You know, you know.
I hear it.
So you can just listen and have fun. Or you could track down the 144,000.
Right.
And understand the call, And so, I wanted to there's every song has a representative, a corresponding idea of something that I learned and something that I experienced. One of my favorite songs is called Bulletproof.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And the concept of being spiritually bulletproof. Right? And I just wanted to make songs that would spark conversation. For people to be able to have fun, dance. We can enjoy it, but there's also something to talk about if you wanted to be in the deep end.
Okay, and I'm gonna go there because you brought that up. We live in an era now where people are, at least in person, trying to be very tolerant of one another. Online is a different story.
For sure.
Online is a different story. Your journey has been interesting, right? From childhood to today. And there are spiritual undertones in there. You were raised in the church, but at the same time, you've been out in different areas of the world where you've seen like, whoa, I never had this. Oh, I'm enlightened to this culture and these particular things. You weren't afraid of intolerance by referencing your church roots.
Right.
Because some people would say, whoa, man, I don't want that. Why was there no fear there?
You know, so my personal belief is, you know, I was raised, you know, with an Old Testament grandmother.
Right.
You know, so
Gigi.
Yeah. You know, so my way and my deepest understanding is biblical. You know, but I've read the Quran from cover to cover.
Yeah.
During Ramadan 2 years ago. Yeah. You know, I read the Bhagavad Gita from cover to cover. I read the teachings of the Buddha. So, you know, if I had to say what my religion is, I would take the Muhammad Ali quote, and my religion is love. Right? I believe in the oneness and the possibility of harmony between people who are all reaching for the one truth.
Yeah.
There's a line in the same record we were just talking about. It says, we're just a room full of sinners reaching for the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
And I just love that line, you know, because everybody wants to hold on to some kind of comparative superiority.
For sure.
And, you know, what has been beautiful for me in the past couple of years is the loss of my illusion of moral superiority.
Like you're better than everyone else.
Yeah, being humbled into the place that I'm not better than nobody.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, it's so beautiful. You know, it's brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal and beautiful.
Okay.
Right, you know.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
That's actually very intriguing. Because if you got ears to hear, you know what's being said. And what I hear you saying is that up until a while back, you probably thought you were made out of Teflon.
Yeah, I certainly always joke with my family, and they don't think it's funny. I was like, I'm King David. I'm God's man. God likes me, y'all. Just admit it. You know, no, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. You've been humanized in a lot of ways.
And settled down into the connective, the only place you can really meet somebody and have authentic compassion is when you recognize the sameness.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I heard a quote. I'm not exactly sure who said it, but I'll claim it as my own.
Yeah,
but
that's the 3 repeat rule.
3 repeat.
You 3 repeat. When you repeat something one time, you say, you know, somebody said.
Yep.
And you know, the second time you say, I don't remember who said it, and then the third time you repeat, like I always say.
Like I always say. Like I've said twice before. Like I've said a couple times. But is that our highest call is to be human.
Yes.
Not less than human and not superhuman.
Right.
But to be human and to humanize one another.
To be it all, to recognize that you're it all. That, it's only by the grace of God that you don't find yourself on one side or the other in a war zone. Because who knows what you would do if people that you loved were being threatened. And it's only by the grace of God that you don't have to make that choice, right? And that's what I recognized, you know, is I am in a blessed scenario. But if I were in another scenario, is my spiritual commitment strong enough to not do things that I talk about other people for doing?
That's good.
What would I do if I was there?
Yeah.
If Willow was on one side of a line and somebody was tripping on the other side, what would I do?
And that's the beautiful thing about grace, right? Is that you have to have a sense of, you've got to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
You got to be able to look at somebody else and say, you know what? I'm no better than them, and I can't look down on them. And how would I respond? How would I react if I were in said person's shoes?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
You might say, I wouldn't do what that fool doing. I definitely wouldn't be doing that. But I'd be making my own mistakes. But I wouldn't be doing that.
Right. My humanity would look different. But it would be human nonetheless.
It would be human nonetheless.
As soon as you listen to Based on a True Story, right? Because I had the privilege of listening to the project. As soon as you listen to it, you instantly go in to your humanity. Instantly,
yeah.
And it was
3 seconds into the album.
So I'm not gonna lie to you, I was shocked that you were willing to go there. Because it's like the whole world is like, has stuff to say. And you're like, you just Eminem'd yourself on 8 Mile. You're like, let me just say it for you.
I'll say it for you, exactly.
What do you want to say? I'll say it for you. I thought it was brilliantly executed, though. I thought it was brilliantly executed, did you play multiple characters?
I played, So
that was pretty. That was great.
So
that was actually took me to Coming to America.
It's called it's to get the Coming to America barbershop scene.
Yes.
I play 3 characters. Jeff plays 1, and B. Simone plays 1.
Killed it. Shout out to my girl B. Simone. She killed it. It was done well. Everything you could think of, you brought up. Was that? Did that take any internal work, or was that like, I'm doing it, I'm just gonna do it? Like, how did you get there?
Yeah, it was. I talked to 2 people to really guide me. I called Jay, and I called Kendrick.
Oh wow, okay.
And I was like, so I want to do this, and the advice was pretty similar. And it was like, don't do it if you're not willing to be fully you. It was like, nobody wants to hear it if you're not going to tell your truth. I was like, got it.
You told it.
Yeah.
You told it.
Yeah.
And I actually admire the courage.
Yeah.
I admire the courage. I admire the sense to say, everyone's not gonna tell my narrative. I'll tell my own narrative.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna own it and tell my story in the way that I feel like it should be told. And I thought, bravo.
Yeah, I think your testimony is everything.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you're the only person that's ever lived your experience. So while the themes are universal and perpetually recurring, everybody's going through, a lot of the same stuff, your testimony is unique, and there are people who will hear you that won't hear others. Right? So I think it's critical to speak your truth.
Yeah.
And because you teach and learn at the same time.
Right.
And you never know who needed to hear what you had to say in that moment.
But you have a million mediums, right? There's film, there's TV, there's online, there's social media. You took a 20-year musical hiatus, and then you come back and address controversy on the first track. Like, why music? What? Hey, I'm gonna use music. Like, what is it about music for you?
So there are, so I have tons of ideas and concepts and things I want to do, and specific ideas lend themselves to specific mediums, right? So a lot of times I'll have a movie idea and I can't figure it out. It's great, I love it. And it's because it's not a movie, it's a TV show.
Okay.
And then as soon as I let my mind open to that idea being a TV show, instantly it goes.
Okay.
Right? So there are things I wanted to talk about that wouldn't fit in a movie it's not really a TV show, but music just kept coming out. The concepts lent themselves to records, to music, to songs. And everything didn't go into this. It's also why I have multiple seasons, right? So there's different things I wanted to say. There were songs I wanted that didn't fit in this body of work. This is like a unified body. So now, you know, I'm already 14 songs into season 2, right? So I'm like, all right, this was out. Let's get to season 2. Right?
Yeah, you were built for all of the work that you got going on, because that's a lot of work.
I love it. I love it.
Well, we can tell you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah. I love life in general, you know, and that's one of the things that is like I'm discovering right now. I spent a little bit of time with Doechii.
Yeah, she's amazing.
And she just like completely reintroduced me to like my essential core, right? That part of me, that just really simple, like happy part of myself. And she just like pointed back to the idea that that's magic. Like it's a super magical thing to just be able to make people smile. It don't have to be all deep and heavy, you know. And we just had some fun and really good conversation. But it's like really inspired by what she does. I see like my that youthful spark, that joyful spark, you know.
Yeah, I think she does that, and it's like she's just so excited about it. I think all of the, you know, because you've been at it a while, I've been at it a while. You get into this and you're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then somewhere along the line,
life kicks in.
And it becomes work. And you forget this was just something you were doing in West Philly for fun.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like, wait a minute, this was fun. When did this become something other than fun?
And I'm back there.
That's great.
Where I'm not doing it to pay the bills, and you know, I'm not doing it to prove anything to anybody. I'm doing it because I love it. I'm doing it because I'm having a ball.
I hear you talking.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Okay. I could be projecting.
Yeah.
I may not be. But there's got to be a part of you that wants to say, "No, I still got this. I can still rap."
Well, I know that. Right, yeah, no, it's like, I don't do, that's obvious.
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's like all of that, it's more important to me to be authentic than it is to be number one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like...
Give me your therapist number. After.
Right, okay.
That's really good.
My therapist is interior.
Excuse me. That's really good, though.
Yeah, it's like, I trust that the more I allow my creations to come from my authentic place than from my mind, than from the thought of who and how I want to be. Let them actually come from who and what and how I truly am.
Wow.
I trust that to make exquisite global art.
Yeah. You're an artist.
Yeah.
And it's clear, like you're an artist. I wanna go back in time a little bit. Let's go back to every third Sunday at Resurrection Baptist Church.
Reverend West.
Reverend Ronald West. Right? The Holy Ghost filled the room. The congregation erupts. The singing, the dancing. And your response is, I want to do that.
Yes.
I want to make people feel like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, talk about that. What exactly was that?
Reverend West, he had a red suit with a red shirt, red tie, and he had red shoes on with red socks and red gazelles.
Oh, he wore red gazelles?
Red gazelles.
Hey, shout out to Reverend West.
Reverend West was up in there, and it was just like, to be able to make people cry with your performance. I was like, wow. You know, but he wasn't performing.
Yeah.
He would like get filled and erupt, and he would kick the bench over, and he's kicking the piano and controlling the choir, you know, and it was like, he was electric. And I would just be sitting next to my grandmother. My grandmother wasn't a big shouter in church. She would sit there, you know, but tears would just be streaming down her eyes. You know, and other people were going, the church, it was, you know, resurrection would let it rip.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, my grandmother, she would just, and I just saw how Reverend West was touching something. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to perform in a way that does that touches people like that.
Wow.
You know, I always saw that as magic, being able to perform in that way.
What do you feel like, have you seen that happen with what you've done thus far?
So with movies, for sure.
Okay.
You know, it's a little bit different with movies because, you know, it'll be 3 years later and you see somebody on the street or something like that. You know, it's still that same beautiful feeling, you know, like, you know, people have come up and, you know, they said, hey, I saw Pursuit of Happiness while I was living in my car. And thank you.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh, you know, for me, that's the highest experience of this place.
Yeah.
You know, that something you created helped somebody go another day.
That's really good.
I had somebody tell me one time that you know, their mother was in the hospital for the last 4 months of her life, and she only watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for the last 4 months of her life. And, you know, she had become nonverbal, but they could see the laughing in her eyes while she was watching Fresh Prince, you know? And it's like, to me, that's the highest.
Yeah.
That is the highest.
Yo, so a lot of y'all have seen me wearing some of the clothes on the pod and you've been like, where can I get that shirt? Where can I get this? Where can I get that? A lot of it is my own merchandise that you can get at Lecrae.store. Like this shirt right here with God's child on the back and the cog right here. The cog represents us being in the process of reconstruction because God is always reconstructing us, right? But you can get all of this and more at Lecrae.store, Lecrae.store. Go there right now, get your discounts, get your merch, go get it.
There's a chapter in your book called Perfection.
Yeah.
Right. And you were on a tear, 2002 to 2008.
Yeah.
What's been known as the greatest streak in Hollywood ever.
In history, yeah.
In the history of Hollywood, right? Men in Black.
No one's
Bad
ever
Boys
going to.
2.
Yeah.
iRobot.
Yeah.
Shark Tale.
Yes.
Hitch. Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness.
I Am Legend, my personal favorite.
Yeah. It's
Hancock.
like, no one will ever do that again. The universe won't allow it.
Okay, so all these movies, they open up #1 in the box office.
Yeah. Over 100 million domestic, just unheard of.
Just craziness.
Numbers, you know, and not just for a Black guy, you know, just for any actor in the history, and I'd say in the history of Hollywood, but it's actually in the history of the world.
History of the world.
The universe. In the universe.
I mean,
because no
Men
one's
in Black,
ever
you saw aliens.
Yes,
they weren't doing what you were doing.
It's like it's really unheard of.
Next level stuff.
Yeah.
Aside from all of that.
That aside.
You were talking about how making those things brought about, or at least in like Pursuit of Happiness, how it was like, yes, I did what Reverend West did in those moments, right? But during that streak, like, there's a competition for inspiring people and getting a #1.
Yes,
Art
absolutely.
versus commerce, inspiration versus competition.
Yeah.
How are you internally during all of that?
Yeah, so, you know, that was a part of the time where I made the discovery of the insatiable nature of material chasing.
Okay.
Like, no matter how big a movie is, you want the next one to be bigger. There is no end. That is the trick of the material world. Right? The trick of the material world is, oh man, when I do this and I do that and I do this, then I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
And then you do that and you get to the top of that mountain and the clouds clear and you see there's another one. Oh, well, that one's, well, I gotta climb that one. You can't come this far and not, you know.
Right.
But it never ends. It's infinite.
So is that, for you going into music now, is there we're still human, but you're more enlightened, but is there a fear in that of like, wait, or are you more cautious? Do you recognize that, or are you just like, no, this is just me expressing in music?
So right now, this is the top of my musical experience.
Wow.
So I made music for this.
Wow. Wow. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that?
Yeah. Right. But that, it's like, I'm not making music to win something or be number one or make money. I'm making music to connect with humans.
Wow.
Right? Like there are ideas, there are concepts, there are experiences that I want to share and exchange, and sitting, talking, and connecting is the height of my life and experience with this music and with all the art that I create. It's like helping me and others find our way to the supreme and absolute truth.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's nothing I enjoy more.
You strike me as someone who doesn't mind exploring.
Yeah.
You know, artistically, even if you listen to the project, you're all over the place.
Yep.
Artistically, you don't mind exploring, you don't mind trying this and experimenting with that. And like, I think what people probably don't know, because you're so good at making things accessible, that you really are like a pretty profound artist.
Right.
Like you enjoy the art of things.
Yeah.
Like it's an art too, to make art accessible.
Yes, right.
And so,
absolutely, right.
Yeah.
So the way I say that is making art and selling art are separate art forms.
That's good.
Right?
That's really good.
So, you know, making Bad Boys was one art form. A global promo tour is a separate art form. Social media is a separate art form. And it's to be humble enough to know the one I'm really good at is making the movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, my publicist, Meredith, is really good at plotting global promo tours.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
You know, we did the first ever movie premiere in Saudi Arabia. Right? So Bad Boys premiered in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, that's not what you would think.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and then social media is a whole separate art form. So for me, the thing that I always say is humble down. You don't know. Stop acting like you know. Somebody else knows better than you know. Take it down.
Yeah.
You know.
It's really impressive. You've already been successful. I mean, many, many, many moons ago, you were the first rapper to win a Grammy.
Yes, sir.
So you did that.
Yes, I
You
did
had
that. I did
success
that.
in music. What I don't think you know is that you're also responsible for my global hit that is platinum. It's called Coming In Hot with Andy Mineo.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. What did I have to do with that?
Well, so what you don't realize is the VFX person who worked on your social media when you came back.
Oh, wow.
was a fan of ours and somehow suggested that song was a good song for you to come back to Instagram.
That's genius.
And a platinum record later.
That's crazy.
So I owe you a platinum record.
Yes, yeah, for sure. For sure. It will have a place of honor in my home.
Sincerely, but I mean, it's also very encouraging to hear this aspect of this season of you, because I think there's a lot for us to learn. Similar to Jay's 444, that was a different version of him that we needed to hear. We don't often get a chance to see people in the hip hop world mature. It's been so youth oriented. We don't get to hear maturity. We don't get to hear fun. As a kid, I thought that after 35, you were boring. And you weren't fun anymore. So it's been really great for us to be able to sit back and see you like mature and do these things and speak in the way that you're speaking. Do you feel a sense of responsibility at all?
Certainly, but it's a responsibility to my authenticity and the delivery of my testimony.
That's good. That's good.
You know, more than an ego responsibility to have people agree and like me.
Woof. That's courageous.
Yeah.
That's good. And I think you do that well. I think you, in this season, it's very encouraging and inspiring to see the version of you that is saying, hey, this is who I really am.
Yeah.
And I think people are like, well, what does this mean? What's he gonna do? And you're like, this.
Yeah. It is terrifying to dissolve parts of your previous image. Right? Because, you design a character that will garner you the things that you feel you most desire. So you show people the things that will make them give you what you want, and you don't show them the things that'll make them give you less money, less love, less adoration. And you craft, the artistry of the delivery of the best parts of yourself. It's like spiritual Instagram. You show the best parts. But then it's a real it's just terrifying to let go of some of those things and start expanding into a deeper authenticity of your humanity.
You're letting go of that teddy bear.
Yeah, letting go of that teddy bear. It's like I'm joyful a lot, but I'm not happy all the time. As folks have seen.
Malcolm Gladwell has a book called David and Goliath.
Yes, I love that.
Great book, right?
Yeah, I talked to him about 3 weeks ago about it.
Okay, that was a slight flex, but it's okay.
I just wanted to, I just wanted you to know.
It's fine.
Me and
Malcolm?
Me and Malcolm.
I'm here with Will, Malcolm.
Where's my phone? Let me show you the picture when we was together a couple weeks ago.
But the book articulates that oftentimes there is some historical trauma that leads to great success.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? For David to defeat Goliath and ultimately become king, he was once the child that his father was like, him?
Him, yeah.
He's like my bastard kid.
Yeah.
You want him to be the king?
Yeah.
And that childhood trauma made him have this feeling of insignificance to where he's like, I gotta prove myself. I gotta be somebody. I've got to win. I feel a lot of commonality with what you wrestled with historically, personally, feeling abandoned and feeling like, oh, well, I gotta achieve and I gotta win in order to be accepted, in order to be desired. And it feels like you just you're on like a victory lap in terms of just saying, hey, that's not me anymore. I don't crave your approval. I don't crave any of that. I crave to be the most authentic version of myself, and I'm giving you that.
Yeah, and it's a little more. If you in the hero's journey, that Joseph Campbell laid out, the hero's journey is basically the structure of almost every Hollywood movie is based on the hero's journey. There's a series of tasks the hero goes through, and allies and enemies, and then the dark night of the soul, and then the hero, emerges from the dark night of the soul. And, you can look at movies and see the structure, Luke Skywalker in the trash compactors, the death moment, Neo when he goes down, and then he stands back up, right? And we feel those things, because they're a part of a psychological, emotional, and spiritual pattern that we all go through in our version. The story of Christ, the death and the resurrection. Right. That's the literal telling of the figurative thing that needs to happen to us. Right? So you die to your previous self in order to be reborn as your higher self.
That man preaching. I'm about to get up. That's good. That's good.
Now, I got to interrupt you because that's extremely interesting what you said, but I have to interrupt you for a second because I need everybody right now to like, to subscribe, and to review if you're enjoying what you're hearing. This is very important because we want other people to enjoy this as well. And don't keep it to yourself. God has gifted you to be a blessing to other people. Be generous. And your generosity means liking, subscribing, and reviewing so people see this is the place to be. God bless.
So more than coming back and saying I'm authentic and I don't need your approval, it in Joseph Campbell called it return with the elixir.
Ooh.
You return with the secret.
That's good.
And then now it's a whole new journey of how do I share this secret?
Which in many ways is fun and inspiring.
Yes,
and it's
absolutely.
Exciting. And it's like you get to instead of you have to.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, you get to. It's a blessing that you've been able to suffer. You've been blessed to suffer, and you return Daniel from the belly of the whale obedient. And you storytelling is my art, and now it's just all the different mediums that I want to apply my joy for storytelling. But I'm bubbling with an elixir that I'm trying to figure out how to share.
That's good. Let's do a pickup really quick. He said Daniel, and it's Jonah in the belly of the whale.
I'm sorry, Jonah in the belly of the whale. Sorry, yes.
I just want you to.
Yes, absolutely, I meant Jonah. Sorry.
No, I was giving you a
I'm going to say it. Yeah, thank you.
You want to stay like that?
Yeah.
We can cut it.
No. I said, no, we can keep that. I want to keep that in because I said, I got excited. It was Jonah in the belly of the whale. Yes, absolutely.
Man, this is the authentic whale, y'all.
But I want you, we're not going to hide that I made a mistake. That's the whole point.
Listen, I'm on your team.
I love that.
This is great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daniel got his hip broke. Was that Daniel, right? Who got
Daniel was in the lion's den.
Daniel was in the lion's den. Jonah was in the
Jacob
got his hip broke. No, it was Jacob got his hip broke wrestling with God.
I don't want none of it. I don't want a broken hip. I don't want lions. I don't want
no
whale
broken
bellies.
hips, no lions, no whales. Just tell me what I need to do.
Tell me what to do
to stay whole.
I got a couple more, and then I want to do a series that we do on the Deep End called Underwater, where we just ask you some underwater questions. It's our version of the hot seat, but you don't care because you're your highest version of yourself right now.
Yes.
So you gave this quote. You talk a lot about success and fame, which is why I love this conversation because I think you get to tear the veil on a lot of these particular things. But you said this. You said you said there's safety in it, but you feel like everyone knows who you are when it comes to fame. And then you've talked about success, and you said it's a paradox. When you have nothing, you suffer the fear and the pain of grinding to achieve your goals. But when you have everything, you suffer the brutal, reoccurring nightmare of losing it all. Where do you, how would you synthesize that today? How would you say, here's how I view all of that today?
My spiritual practice today is be okay with everything.
Okay.
Whatever I get, That's my curriculum. Thank you, God. I'll work with that.
Wow. Wow. You're the guy who says, give me the list and it's blank. And you're like, sounds good. Fill it in as we go.
Yep.
Wow.
Whatever happens, I trust me and God to figure it out. And it's certainly going to be things I don't want.
Yeah.
You know, the nature of this place is that, you know, ultimately you're going to be at the bed of somebody you love that's dying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the hard one.
There's some dark things.
Yeah, that's the hard one for everybody, you know. But there's going to be a lot of little ones on the road to that. And I trust that it's an adventure. I trust that it's a mystery. And I trust that I'll handle whatever becomes my divine curriculum.
Wow. That is encouraging, it's profound, it's strong. It's something that I think a lot of us could benefit from. I mean, because, you know, there's a quote that's always articulated in society, the struggle is real, right? The struggle is real, the struggle is real.
Yep.
And I think that...
And I want to make one little distinction.
Go ahead.
The struggle is real. Striving in the struggle is resistance, though.
Ooh.
Just relax. It's the striving against the struggle that is exponentially more difficult.
That causes the suffering.
Rejecting the struggle is part of the problem. Like, relax. Relax. You're in a hard place. Relax. You're not getting out tonight. You're going to be in there tonight. Relax.
This is why you jumped out the helicopter.
Yeah, right. No, I went on a serious, I wanted to be comfortable being scared, right? Because I don't think you'll ever be rid of fear.
Yeah.
You'll just learn how to relax when you're terrified. And to me, that was a higher value than trying to figure out how to be fearless.
Yeah. The funny part about it is, and I really genuinely appreciate this type of conversation because you don't hear people who have been in places where they can afford comfortability. They don't have to, they can try to buy their way out of the struggle.
Yes.
If they want to, right?
They're not going to do it, but, you can give it a shot.
but I appreciate it because similarly, I went skydiving. I did not want to do it. I was like, I don't want to do it, but I do want to do it because I'm a little bit of a thrill seeker, but at the same time, I'm terrified. And when it was time to jump, I was just destroyed internally. But once I was there,
dude,
it was like, oh, this is amazing.
Amazing. Yep.
Flying.
Yep.
Yeah.
As that was, I had a quote I put up a couple of years ago. God placed the greatest things in life on the other side of your worst fears.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know where you see that most? Relationships.
Okay.
Relationships fail most often because of a fear of going first in loving, jumping first. It's just be in love. It's terrifying. It was well, no. Well, I'll do it if you do this, this, and this. And it's all the conditions before you just love somebody.
Yeah.
And there's a skydiving element to allowing yourself to just be in love with somebody.
Yeah. What's interesting about that as you say that, because I think typically you would think of a romantic relationship, but I think I've experienced what you're talking about with my own kids.
Yep.
I'm afraid to be this vulnerable because, but I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
And it's bonded us closer because I just led and just you know what, you might reject me. I'm gonna be that dad and just, and sometimes I got rejected for sure. But ultimately, so I appreciate that. It's good. I'm taking notes, Will. It's really good stuff here. No, based on a true story. We're excited that you are putting new music in the atmosphere. And not just this now, this is news. We're getting more and more and more, you know, as the year goes on.
Yeah, I got season 2 ready already, but my management's like, calm
Chill
down.
out.
Let's put this first one out first.
Yeah, because I see you're already about to go on a world tour. And I'm just like, what? Who, how?
I love it, man. I'm loving it. Loving
you build
it. Loving
different.
It. Yeah.
I thought they say like, after 30, you're supposed to just be like, I'm just trying to chill. Like, how dare you invite me outside?
Yeah, I do be sleeping 9 o'clock though.
Okay.
I definitely be sleeping 9
so
o'clock.
No club walkthroughs.
There ain't no clubs on my tour. There ain't no clubs on my tour. 7 o'clock on stage, 9 o'clock on the way to the hotel.
Yeah. We're excited, man. We appreciate you,
pleasure,
man.
brother.
Just the countless offerings you've given us. And man, thank you for keeping it going, man.
All love. Appreciate
Gracious.
you, brother.
Yeah. Dope.
This is The Deep End with Lecrae.